Hey guys, I'm Pokemon1086 and welcome back to a brand new video. So today's video, I'm bringing you guys once again another video game review, but not just any video game review. This is a game that I said I was going to talk about. I have done, I think one video on the channel about this game, maybe two, because this isn't the first time I've talked about my homie on this channel. But I played the game, I beat it back in December. Man, this game right here really made me feel some type of way. And that game I'm talking about is my homie, the best Spider-Man, the only Spider-Man that can make this world bigger and better. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm talking about the one and only Spider-Man Miles Morales video game. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales was released on November 12th, 2020, and it was released on the platforms both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Interactive Studios. As of November 2020, the game has sold over 663,000 units. The game was developed when Sony Vice President Simon Rudder told The Telegraph that the game is an expansion and an enhancement to the previous game. However, Insomniac later called the project a standalone game, stating that it is the next adventure in the Marvel Spider-Man universe. It is similar in size and scope than Spider-Man and has been compared to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, a game which served as a standalone expansion that was smaller in size and scope than the mainline Uncharted title. The game features a new story with a new set pieces, fresh villains, and a unique quest. For the PlayStation 5 version, the game takes advantage of the console's increased power compressing, dedicated ray tracing hardware, and custom solid-state drive storage, Tempest engine, and DualSense controller to support features such as enhanced haptic feedback, real-time ray tracing effects, 3D spectacle visuals, and reduced loading times. The PlayStation 5 version of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales supports high dynamic range and optical performance mode that allows the game to run at 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. The story picks up more than a year after the events from the previous story from Marvel's Spider-Man. While being trained to become the next web-swinging Spider-Man of New York City, an organization comes out from the shadows known as the Underground, who tries to stop Simon Kruger from opening Roxxon Industries around the world. Miles must stop the Underground's leader, Tinker, while another threat is hidden. Like I mentioned, it came out on the PS5 and the PS4. I copped the PS4 because I'm too broke to buy a PS5, unfortunately. That's why I'm trying to, stack my bread up, if you get what I'm saying. But this game, I had a blast playing. Will I say it's like a crazy out of this world game? No, not really, but it's decent for a Spider-Man game, especially for it being not a sequel or a continuation, but its own standalone game. It was actually not that bad. I actually enjoyed every minute of it, and I think you guys would too. I mean, if you haven't played it already, I think y'all would. So you guys saw on the channel, I did an unboxing for this game, and I did say I was gonna do a review once I beat the game, and here we are. So like the original Marvel's Spider-Man that came out in 2018, this one has its own original story while bringing in some classic characters from the comic books like the Prowler, Rhino, and even I think Thinker? I think the Thinker was a villain from the comics. I'm not too entirely sure. I could be wrong. I was honestly impressed by what they did with this. Now, maybe this is just me. I know some people complained about the game being too short. To me, the game did not seem that short at all. I actually thought it was very decently lengthy. It's not your typical game that's gonna take you like maybe a week to beat, depending on what you got going on in your life, or it's gonna take you like a while to beat. This game will definitely maybe take you a couple days to beat. That's if you ain't got other priorities or other responsibilities in your life. But I mean, to be fair, I liked it. It's not bad, like I said, for a standalone Spider-Man game, especially one that introduces a new Spider-Man to the limelight instead of your stereotypical bland ass Peter Parker. Peter Parker is kind of cool, but he ain't ain't cool like my homie Miles Morales though. So if you saw my unboxing video on this game, then you know how I felt about the creation behind it. I mean, I'm not saying that black people didn't work on this game. I'm just wishing a lot more black people would have been a part of this game, because then I felt like it would have had just a little bit of that push to make it more impactful. Because once again, when have we had a black superhero get its own video game? The fact that some of these superheroes aren't getting much of the attention that they deserve, especially the black ones, says something. And I know you guys are probably like, oh, you're just being like biased right now. Look here, all I'm saying is that we don't get a lot of this in video games, especially superheroes with a little bit of this. And it's a start that we have something like Miles Morales. And this is something that I've talked about that I want to see more of, that I think a lot of people would actually appreciate and enjoy. And the fact that we got something like this just to start off with, definitely gearing us towards the right direction and getting more stuff like this for us to enjoy. Let's just go to the pros and cons like I talk about it. So starting off with the pros, I got the story. So like I said, original story, I definitely like how they built things up, especially from the beginning. You kind of get a little bit of Miles's background. He's on winter break from school. He has his homie with him who's helping him become a better Spider-Man. Other than Peter Parker, he's doing like his own little gadgets behind the scenes, helping him build stuff, helping him make better suits and everything. And overall, the chemistry with him and Peter, I definitely do like that, because for those of you that don't know, in the Ultimate Universe, a Peter Parker Spider-Man ends up dying and Miles takes over. And I remember when Miles and Peter were both fighting Rhino, I remember Peter Parker was just getting brutally beaten by Rhino. And I thought right then and there they were gonna have that be where Peter dies and Miles ends up taking over and becoming the next Spider-Man. In reality, that doesn't happen. It's just Peter gets badly beaten, which is whatever. But I think as far as that could have been something cool to have that element in there where it kind of gets people hooked up and people, you know, hooked on that knowledge of that's what happens within this Ultimate Universe with Miles Morales. Because for a little bit, it's cool that he gets to take over New York while Peter's on this trip for a couple weeks with MJ. It would have been more dope if Miles actually ended up taking over and becoming the official new Spider-Man instead of just Spider-Man number 2. Y'all could have wrote something just a tiny bit better to make it seem like as if he's actually now going to be the new Spider-Man. You know, it was cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the story down whatsoever. The story's in the pros for a reason. I liked it. I liked everything with it. I liked him and Finn's chemistry. You get more into the background of Finn and the people that they were around and how she has this whole organization, the Underground, that's trying to take on this company and trying to stop them. I want to say towards the end of the game, I just want to briefly mention this, that whole brawl, the both groups going at it, Miles having to fight both groups. It's a lot. It's a lot because it's just this whole city lockdown, all this stuff going on. And then when him and Finn fight and duke it out, man, that shit really hit. That shit really hit. I ain't gonna lie, I shed a tear. If you didn't see my warning in the beginning of this video, a little too late to be saying this now because I already spoiled some stuff about the game, but there will be some heavy spoilers in this game. So if you don't want to be spoiled anymore or hear what else I'm about to say, because I'm about to drop some heavy shit, click off the video, go watch some gameplay footage on YouTube or somewhere, come back and watch this review, or go buy the game, play it for yourself, then come back to this review. Otherwise, just know you've been warned. When Miles sucked up all that energy, the electrical energy, and him and Finn flew up into the fucking sky, and Miles had to release it, and Finn told him to do it, and he was like, Finn, no, I can't do it, you will die. She was crying, she was like, it's okay, Miles. And he let go, and Finn died. He fell from the sky, hit the ground, smacked down. Bro, I was like, whoa. But to be a 17-year-old kid going through all of that, you lost your best friend. You lost like your childhood best friend slash someone that you were kind of in love with. They were evil. You had to fight them, and then they died in your arms. I couldn't. I could not, man. I'm telling y'all, I couldn't, bro. You know, Aaron finds out that he's Miles because he's like, it's not obvious to figure out that you're my nephew Miles. And they start to get along, but then they have this duking out thing. It started making me think of flashbacks from watching Into the Spider-Verse, where I was thinking that someone was going to kill the Prowler. I was expecting that. That didn't happen, thank God. But I enjoyed every minute of this story. It really kept me grasped in the game, and it made me overall remember how much love I had when I played the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man game. Hell, even when I finished this, I went back and I started playing more of the DLC that I didn't finish. Another pro I liked about this game was Miles Morales' abilities. Now, one thing that has always made me put Miles over Peter Parker is just that he had more abilities that Peter Parker didn't. And a lot of those come in handy. They really do when it comes to sneaking up on people and fighting in a big group of thugs. All those abilities are cool. But one thing I will say that I like about Spider-Man is that he's more organic. With me, I personally didn't really like to use a lot of the gadgets because I liked more of that organic feel with Spider-Man, not relying too heavily on gadgets. Which is why when I played this game, I didn't use a whole lot of gadgets until about midway or a little after the middle of the game. Towards the end, I started using more and more gadgets. Other than that, I was just giving people them 2-piece combos with a biscuit and a side of a cherry cola. I was giving people that work. I don't really like using gadgets. I like just giving people the mins. But I mean, come on, I can't not use the Venom Blast, you know. I can't not use the Mega Venom Blast. And like I said, camouflage, come on, bro. You invisible, you sneak up, you know, you give people that. So now it's time to move on to the cons. The only thing I had that I put in the cons section of this game was that it's literally just a carbon copy of Marvel's Spider-Man. Yes, I did say a lot of stuff that I liked about this game, and I know I praised it and I made this seem like this was like one of my favorite games to play of 2020, because trust me, this was one of my favorite video games to play of 2020. It literally is a carbon copy of Marvel's Spider-Man. Granted, it does have its own story. Miles is a completely different Spider-Man, but it's almost like you're just replaying Marvel's Spider-Man 2018. Other than the story and the characters that really makes it stand out compared to that said 2018 game. It's better than the 2018, but at the same time, it's literally just the same game. Like, yeah, the graphics for the PS5 were more enhanced, but it still was the exact same thing from what I remembered from 2018 Spider-Man. Like, that's just the only downside to it, because I was like thinking it was gonna be like a million times different. It was different as far as story and characters, like I said, but the combat was still kind of the same. Now, granted, Miles, like along with his abilities, he does have different fighting moves than Peter had, but Peter kind of trained him through some like holographic simulator thing while he was gone. That's literally just the only like downfall I had about the game. Besides that con, like I said, I personally like the game. The only downfall is that this, I think, was more meant for the PS5, because when I played this on my PS4 Pro, my console's fan was just blowing super fucking loud. It made it kind of hard to hear, like during the cutscenes. I had to like crank my little monitor up just to hear what people were saying, because my PlayStation fan was blowing so loud. So that's really one thing you gotta look out for once you play this game, if you are going to get it on the PS4. Otherwise, I'm sure you might not have that problem on the PS5. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I'm broke, so I don't own a PS5. Overall, I just want to say that I did enjoy the game. It was definitely a lot of fun to play. And if you are a big Spider-Man fan, definitely go get this game, especially if you are a big Miles Morales fan like myself. Go pick this game up. It's definitely worth the play. For a standalone game, it's not bad, and I'm hoping they make a sequel, because there was a cutscene in this game where it made you think that there was going to be some sort of sequel to it. Another thing I wanted to point out real quick before I go is that I loved the little tribute that they did to Chadwick Boseman. A moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman. And I'm really, really glad they did this. And I know somebody who was a little bit of this complexion was behind that. I wish there was more to it. Like I said, it was just a standalone game. And besides all that, that is my review for Spider-Man Miles Morales. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We are trying to reach 1K subscribers by the end of 2021. If you're not gonna like the video for me, like the video for my nigga Miles Morales. It's done wonders as far as selling the game, because there was a point in time you could not find this game anywhere. It was hard to come across, and I'm happy I was able to get my hands on this said game. Comment down below what was your favorite part from Miles Morales Spider-Man. If you want to connect more with me, hit up my links to my social media down in the description below. I'm talking Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want to check out more content from me besides this channel, definitely check out my second channel in the link in the description below. That is my AfroGeek plus Ultra Nappy channel, where I post videos on there Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and sometimes even Sundays. And alrighty guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I am Pokemon 26, and I am out of here.